EVGA E1 has created a pre-built PC. It's called the EVGA E1, and this thing is crazy looking. So let me just go over some quick specs for you guys, and then I'll show you some pictures, and we'll go over like a similar parts build, things like that, to try to get the pricing, because they haven't released anything yet. So the frame for this thing is 100% carbon fiber, and it's following this 3K theme. I think 3K stands for its like design or its like density or something. I'm not exactly sure, but it's made out of 3K carbon fiber, and allegedly this thing's super strong, stronger than steel, all that good stuff. And the whole frame weighs 2.76 pounds, which for those euros, a little over a kilogram, like 1.1 or 1.2 kilograms. Probably less than that, actually. It's called the E1 frame, and it's like the lightest frame, you know, compared to other chassis of the same volume. Also, it kind of comes out as like a Y. In the teaser video they released is a 3090 Ti Kingpin GPU, I think. They haven't confirmed whether it's the 3090 Ti Kingpin, but it looks different than the current Kingpin. It's got a Z690 Dark Kingpin motherboard, and they didn't say what CPU is underneath that cooler, but it appears to be the newest gen, 12th gen i9 CPU under there. And the cooler is a 7th gen Asetek closed loop cooler from EVGA. It is not a 7th gen CPU cooler, it is a modern cooler. And it's got like a display on it, as what all coolers these days, the high-end ones. And on the back, it's got a 1600 watt titanium power supply with a limited 3K carbon finish. It's probably just a sticker, honestly. Probably just your standard T2 with a sticker on it. I mean, the sticker costs like $100 more, so that's kind of cool. It also comes with these analog gauges on the front and a limited edition keychain. So let me get some pictures for you guys. Let me just do this real quick. We'll transition over to this screen. So that's what it looks like. And let's go to the video they have over here. Did I not have a video queued up? Oh, here it is. Because the video kind of shows it a little better in my opinion. Just mute that. By the way, if you guys watch this video, the intro music, like right about now, sounds kind of like reminiscent of Valve. Like the Valve logo. So you can see that's the full carbon fiber frame right there. And it's got like this crazy suspension system on this wireframe, which holds all the computer components. There's that 1600 watt titanium rated PSU. On the other side, they're going to put this EVGA Z690 Dark motherboard. We got the Kingpin card. We got the 360 AIOs for both the CPU cooler and the GPU. We got some analog gauges down here, and it zooms in. It kind of shows this new cooler. It's got a display on it. And of course, for those that don't know, the EVGA Dark series Kingpin motherboards, they only have 2 RAM slots for overclocking. And real quick, it kind of covers where the power connectors on a traditional Kingpin goes. So it's hard to tell, but allegedly the rumor is the 3090 Ti Kingpin is going to have 2 12-pin connectors. So that's going to be pretty interesting, but that's what it looks like. Now, let me go back to the other screen here. So let me get this up. Let me just take a look at that. All right, there we go. So now, based on what they have said, I have put together a PC part picker list of similar components of similar price. So we got the i9 12900K in here. And we got the cooler. We got the Gigabyte motherboard, which it's the Kingpin motherboard, but those things are pretty expensive. I don't really know the price on it yet. I put it as $900. The cooler is from EVGA. It's a new one, and I don't know how much it is yet either. I'm just putting that. It's not going to be like a $50 or $100 cooler, that's for sure. The memory, we just added DDR, 64 gigs of DDR5. That comes in around $600 average market price. These are all kind of retail prices, by the way. We got the regular 3090 24GB Kingpin in here, but we're estimating that to be around $2,500 retail. And I just put in a regular case.
For the TI.
For the TI, yes. Sorry, for the TI. For the case, the carbon fiber case, we're just throwing some random number in here. We think it's gonna be really expensive. We just put $11.99. And then of course the power supply, those are like $500 or so. So just for the parts of the system alone, by estimate, we're looking around $6,000+. So this thing is not going to be cheap. This thing is going to be very, very expensive. Now, I don't know. It looks really cool. I'm not a big fan of the design too much, but it is cool looking. And it's definitely a nice open air chassis. As you guys know, I love my open air chassis. So let me just transition back here, get my notes. Let's see. Yeah, so it's got those analog gauges on the front, and if you look underneath that, it's got like all the I/O. So we think that's where on a traditional computer all the I/O would go: input, output, USB-C, power on, off, all that good stuff, hard drive LEDs, all that good stuff. And the last thing, it comes with a limited edition keychain. It doesn't seem to do anything. It doesn't look like a remote. It just looks like a key fob for your car. I don't know, man. It's very expensive and all that. EVGA's older cases kind of look really ugly and bad, and they're actually on B stock like all the time. I don't think they've ever left. So I don't know how bad or good it is, and we won't know until it comes out. But I'm thinking, well, at least Andrew here has told me his estimate on the price is gonna be around 10 grand for the computer.
I don't think I'm going to be far off. I mean, it's a whole lot of hardware. It's going to be basically as good as it gets in terms of actual hardware. And I think having it all in one pre-built computer, you're going to pay the pre-built tax, which in this case will be, whatever EVGA deems appropriate. But that case is not going to be something you see mass produced, and therefore whatever research and development went into it needs to be made up for in however much the quantity they sell is. So even just considering the design, even if it were mass produced, it's a premium chassis, so there is cost in that, in materials and production, but being that it will be limited quantity, it will be more. So yeah, I would be shocked if that case was valued at anything under $700, $800.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely gonna be very expensive because they gotta make money too, right? I mean, especially in this market where we're gonna talk about this later, but companies can essentially, we're gonna come begging and pleading to buy stuff, so they could basically charge whatever they want. All right. So, Andrew, did you have anything else on the E1 case from EVGA that's going to be a lot of money?
I mean, I had talked to you about it earlier, but honestly, I don't think it's a case that I don't think it's a system that they're really trying to sell. I think it's like having, the latest Corvette in the showroom so that they can sell, Cavaliers. You know what I mean? Gets people in the door.
It attracts people, right?
Yeah, I think it's really brand attraction. They're just trying to get people talking about EVGA with this crazy system. And it's not to say it's not an amazing system. It's going to be fully loaded with the latest hardware. But in terms of who needs a system like that,
I do.
Should pay the premium and get it. Yeah, I mean, it's someone who's probably compensating for something else.
Whoa! I don't know.
I'm sorry, you cut me off there. I didn't. We overlapped there. I wasn't responding to what you said. Did you say someone who might want one? I'm sorry.
Someone else that might want one.
Someone else.
Yeah.
Oh, you have a friend who might want one.
A friend of a friend that I don't know anymore.
All right. Yeah. I mean, in terms of, I don't know. I mean, we're speculating in terms of cost, but it's not going to be cheap. For the Kingpin GPUs and the Dark series motherboards are already items that most people don't need and probably aren't a great value.
Man, that's such a relative term.
Yeah, I'm just saying, the features that are part of that hardware are rarely utilized. So unless you're actually doing extreme overclocking and LN2 stuff, you probably just don't need it. But that PC is clearly not set up for LN2. It's really just a showpiece.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the one last thing about it is the reason why I would probably never buy that, because it's expensive, is unless I'm building a separate system that's just going to be like for throwing the fastest clocks or whatever, it only has 2 RAM slots. So I can't fit 128 gigs on this thing. I can only put up to 64 in the current market. That's a big problem for me because I'm a content creator, and some of the stuff I do in Premiere Pro takes a lot of RAM. I mean, like just the other day, you know? Oh, go ahead.
We're in the genesis of DDR5 though. So I would imagine with this generation of memory, we're going to see 64 gig sticks become more common.
Yeah, it's not really common in the desktop space, more like the server space right now.
Yeah, I mean, DDR4 has been out for something like, I don't know,
10 years?
5 to 10 years somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we expect DDR5 to have as long of a run, it's definitely going to have higher capacity DIMMs by the time it's still relevant.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is that those motherboards the BIOSes aren't programmed to have more than 128 gigabytes at the moment. So it'll be interesting if we get 256 gigabyte motherboards, because then I honestly will have almost very little reason to ever switch to a Threadripper platform or something, especially if I could get that much RAM. I mean, I don't use it very often, but when I do, it really does help for those long renders in Premiere or warp stabilizers. It really does help.